All right, I want to start off by saying all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, and peace, shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Now, in this video is going to be titled COVID-19 Manifest Revealed, Mystery of Iniquity Revealed. All right, there's a video out there that's been going viral with, they say it's the Ghanaian president. Basically, he's like reading a COVID-19 manifesto. Basically, what Esau has planned, for this COVID-19. And I came across this article because, I was fact checking it. Came across this article called Fact Check Ghana. And basically, in this article, they're saying that it's not his voice, right? It says fake. Voice in viral COVID-19 clip is not President Akufo-Addo's voice. All right, cool. So the point of this article is to debunk that it's not his voice. I'm going to read up onto this third paragraph. Y'all could go check this out yourself. The website's there, factcheckghana.com. So I'm going to read. It says tweets by some I'm going to read these three paragraphs. Let me just highlight it. It says tweets by some social media users since 24th June 2020 have gone viral, claiming Ghana's president Nana Akufo-Addo has exposed a supposed evil plan behind COVID-19 in a viral audio message. According to the tweets, President Akufo-Addo's alleged expose is an honest speech from Africa that reveals plans to use COVID-19 to depopulate the world. Plan exposed. It says President of Ghana on the evil that is going on in the name of COVID-19, masterminded by Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, together with WHO, which is the World Health Organization, and the Rockefeller Foundation. All right, so basically in this article, you read it yourself, they're saying that it's not his voice. Okay, all right, cool. So if you think about it, the only thing you're debunking is that the messenger is not him, but you're not speaking anything about the message itself, right? About what that whoever it was who was speaking, what they're saying about, what's going on, because they're actually reading like a manifesto, right? So, all right, it's not his voice. Does that make the message irrelevant or impertinent, right? Does it make the message false because it may not be his voice? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not adding up. Things ain't adding up there. Now, if they were saying that the message itself is false, which they did, because they're going to say it's conspiracy, right? Everything is a conspiracy for them. Well, COVID-19 is a conspiracy as well, right? And then the numbers that you're reporting as far as deaths, the death toll, or those who contracted it, right? That can be a conspiracy as well. See what I'm saying? So there's a thin line, between the truth and a lie, right? Now, whether it's his voice or not, right? We're supposed to be listening to the message, right? And not worrying about who the messenger is, right? I'm going to go into Ecclesiastes 9:16. It says, "Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard." So their whole thing is, it's a fake voice, but at the same time, all right, if it's another man who's not the president speaking it, right, must not he be heard as well, right? It tells you right here, nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Okay, so you're not debunking the message, you're debunking that it's this messenger here. No, we want to talk about what message was spoken in this video, and the video is going to play at the end. But I'm just giving this intro right here, right, to preface the video that you're gonna see or you're gonna hear, right? So you're not supposed to despise a man in his words, whether it be rich or poor, right? If his wisdom is wisdom, right? So, and this goes along with not being a respecter of persons, right? Because the Most High is no respecter of persons, right? The Most High chooses the lowly, right? The humble. Those are the ones the Most High choose, right? To speak the truth, right? Like Moses, right? Moses was meek, right? Moses had his spirit under control, right? So that's why the Most High chose him, right? When the Most High said to Moses, I want you to go to Pharaoh, Moses said, what? I'm not a man of speech. I'll stutter, I'm paraphrasing, all right? So, these men of renown, those ain't the ones the Most High is choosing, right? But the truth is the truth, right? I'm going to move on. Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 23 says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. And that's what they saying here, right? So they trying to discredit the audio message here, right, of what was said, whether it be this president or whether it be, a regular person living in Ghana, whatever, right? They're trying to discredit the message, right? Because they're saying it's not this person saying it, right? But it's not about who's saying it. It's about what's being said, right? So I'm going to read this again. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds, right? You got, these rich men. You got Obama, right? Anything he say is gospel and gold, right? You got the supporters of Trump. Everything he say is right. He can't go wrong, right? They extol it to the clouds, right? Bill Clinton, right? All of these so-called world leaders, right? You got these celebrities, the Colin Kaepernicks and all of that. They can't say anything wrong for the people, right? Because they're rich men, right? When they speak, you hold your tongue and you look in awe, right? And whatever they say, you extol it to the clouds, whether it be right or wrong, right? You backing that up, right? You defending them, right? You lawyering up for them, right? And then it says, but if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this, right? That's like us when we out here, whether we be teaching on the highways or teaching on YouTube or whatnot, right? They be like, oh, who is this? Who are you to tell me about COVID-19 and what Esau has planned, right? They look at you and they saying, where's your credentials, right? Who fact checked you, right? Because they looking at the messenger instead of listening to the message, right? And it says, and if he stumbled, they will help to overthrow him, right? And you see it all the time, right? They try to trip you up. The Pharisees and Sadducees did that with Yahushua. They try to trip him up, right? But you can't trip up the Lord, right? They used to try to be naysayers and gainsayers against the Lord, right? But they can't trip him up, right? So I brought these two scriptures out just to, debunk this whole article, because it don't matter whether it's his voice or not. Listen to the message. Listen to what's being read. That manifesto of COVID-19 and the plan that they have planned, right? And it's not far-fetched either. Okay, it's not no conspiracy either, because the scripture reveal Esau, right? And I'm gonna go over these scriptures to back up this COVID-19 manifesto and how they want to use it to depopulate the world, right? And then bring man under their control, because Esau's wicked, right? So I'm gonna start here. Psalm 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, right? So that's what we want. We want the Most High's covering for when Esau comes and clamps down on society, right? Enforcing all type of thing. They're already enforcing mandatory masks, right? Out in public in certain states, right? And then next is going to be mandatory vaccine. That's the next thing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going to let this COVID thing just disappear, right? It's leading up to something, right? So we ain't supposed to be out here taking Esau's vaccine, man, right? So we got to be hidden from this secret council of the wicked, because Esau meet up, right? They got their little G20 summit or whatnot, right? They meet up in these submarines, right? Way down deep in the ocean, right? Having a secret council on how they're going to control the world, right? So we need to be, we need that Most High's covering from that, right? Reading on, it says in verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, right? So I'm gonna bring it up to date as far as bend their bows and shoot their arrows, right? Because Esau, what they did, they take us out with the sword, right? It's either they shooting us down, right, with them arrows, with modern day bullets, or they shooting us up with these vaccines, right? One or the other, man. Okay, so this is what Esau do, right? Reading on, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, right? Because they make their plans perfect, right? And it leads up to these things, right? Reading on in verse 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Right? And this is what Esau does, right? They had their little private meetings, right? Little government meetings or whatnot, right? United Nations, right? Where Israel don't even have a seat, the real Israelites, right? That's blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We ain't got a seat there, right? So they encourage themselves in an evil matter, right? They getting together and they saying, yeah, we're gonna control them. We're gonna make, billions of dollars off of this vaccine, right? What we're gonna do is come out. So you think about it, right? When it comes to Esau, they have a plan where it goes problem, right? So they create a problem, right? COVID-19, right? This pandemic. Then after the problem is created and presented to the people, to society, this one is to the world, right? Then they have a reaction, right? So the reaction is what? Through media. The media reacts to it, right? They talk about these inflated numbers of people contracting this disease or people dying from it, right? That's a reaction. So when the media reacts, the people watch the news, and that becomes the people's reaction, because the people just soak it up. They just sponges is soaking up everything. They're easily brainwashed, right? They ain't got the spirit of the Lord to block out those things, right? To know that, hey, Most High protect, or just to see Esau's plans and know, right? Just to have that wherewithal and know that, hey, Esau's planning something. You see what I'm saying? So the reaction is there. Then after the problem reaction comes what? The solution. What's the solution? ID 2020, right? Mandatory vaccines, right? Smart chips to test your temperature, and you're always being tracked, right? To know, okay, are you sick or not, right? They have this new legislation. I think it was called House Resolution 6666, right? The Trace Act, right? Where they could just come up in your house and test you, or take you out of your house and quarantine you, or bring you to a FEMA camp and lock you up, right? 14 days or however long they want, right? Mandatory face masks. You there breathing in your carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide, whatever it is or whatnot. You ain't allowed to get fresh air, right? So these are the things that they're doing, right? I'm gonna read it again. Verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? See that? So when the things are revealed, right, via, whether it be fake voice or not, when they're revealed, it says, who shall see them? Because guess what? They got people out here ready to say, oh, that's a fake voice, or that's a conspiracy theory, right? But then we take everything they say on the news for gospel, right? You can't do that, right? We gotta deal with the spirit of the Lord and look into this Bible and look into the prophecies, right? Moving on, the book of Psalms, chapter 36 and verse 4. It says, I'm gonna start on verse 3. It says, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit, right? Bringing this up to date and to the lesson as far as interpretation. This is Esau, right? The words of Esau's mouth is sin, wickedness, right, and deceit, right, trickery, right, trying to lay snares and privily, right, having secret counsels, right. This is all deceit, right. The numbers you putting out there, 11,400 new cases in Florida and all of that, that's deceit. Those are lies, right? Falsifying death certificates, right? Anybody who died now is for COVID. Deceit, right? They're trying to create that fear factor, right? They're trying to create the fear in people so that the people will succumb. The people will succumb to this new world order, right? To this mystery of Babylon, right? The iniquity. Okay, so I'm gonna read it again. Verse 3: the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. Right. Verse 4: he deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. And that's Esau. Because a lot of people will say to themselves, why would the government do this? Right? Why would the Rockefellers and the World Health Organization and Bill Gates want to force people to, take a vaccine? Well, obviously we know they're making money off of that, right? Why would they want to purposefully, create this disease or this virus, COVID-19, for people to catch, right? Because in the end, they're gonna make money off of it, and they're gonna have control over the people, right? The people are going to be tagged like sheep, right? They're going to be branded, right? Like a horse or like an animal, because that's how they look at you, right? So I'm going to read that again. It says, he deviseth mischief upon his bed. That's what Esau do, right? He laying in his bed. He can't go to sleep. He thinking about mischief. He thinking about what evil he can do and portray upon God's people, okay? Right? It says he setteth himself in a way that is not good. That's all Esau does, right? That's all Esau do. Set himself in a way that is not good, right? And he loves evil. He don't abhor it, right? He loves the evil, right? So, that's plain right there. Moving on, going up the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16, it says, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. Right? And that's Esau, and that's the wicked in general. But we're getting on Esau, right? It says, for they sleep not except they have done mischief. Right? So him laying on his bed, devising mischief, will help him fall asleep, thinking about evil, right? The evil that he can portraying upon the earth, right, and putting forth his plans, right, for the society to have control, right, and to force people to do things that is ungodly, right. That's the only thing that make Esau sleep at night, right. So I'm gonna read it again, verse 16. For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. They can't, if they can't have no sleep, not knowing that they haven't done any wicked, right? Verse 17, for they eat the bread of wickedness, right? So when they get together and break bread, it's about evil, right? When they get together and they having their talks or whatnot, it's not about righteousness. That's why their bread is of wickedness, right? That's what they eat of, evil, right? And drink the wine of violence, right? So the philosophies and the doctrines that they're bringing forth is all violence. It all leads to violence, right? It all leads to some concentration camp under some military or whatnot, right? Because we know these Esau, he rules by the sword. That's how Esau ruled, by the sword, right? So he drink that wine of violence, right? That's how he's gonna bring forth everything, right, through force, but he has to use his military. Okay, he has to bring in the National Guard. He has to create a military state. You understand? Alright, moving on. The book of Psalms 83. Start at verse 2. It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head." Verse 3. "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones." Right? So this is what Esau does. He takes crafty counsel against the Israelites. Because those are any law or any practice or anything that Esau, puts into place and implements, is all to hold down Jake. All of it. Right? All of it. Whether they raise taxes or lower the taxes or whatnot, it's all to hold back the Israelites. Right? That's it. I'm gonna read on that one. Yeah, I could go through and read the rest. This is a beautiful chapter right here, Psalms 83rd chapter. Right? I'm gonna pull First Maccabees. Because I'm gonna bring it out. First Maccabees, book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41. It says, "Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people." And that's what's going on now, because you look at it, this so-called pandemic is happening where? It's not happening in one part of the world. It's happening all over the world. It's happening worldwide. Okay? So this is what Esau's looking for, that new world order, that one world government, right? Get everybody tagged with this ID 2020. We're all going through the same thing. Even when with the whole George Floyd incident and the George Floyd murder, right? I ain't using no euphemisms, right? With George Floyd murder, right? The riots, they happened almost around the whole world. They was having little protests in the UK, having protests in Nigeria, you know what I'm saying? Most anywhere where Jake was. So, they trying to make every issue a world issue now, right? So they have their one world order. Right, reading on, verse 42, "And every one should leave his laws." Right? So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. See that? So they're going to want you to leave your laws. Right? What laws? The Most High's laws. That's what it's talking about. Right? When King Antiochus wrote this to the whole kingdom, it was really to get at the Israelites. That was his main purpose. Verse 43, "Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath." So there's going to be Jake out here when Bill Gates, right, and the World Health Organization come out with their vaccine. They're going to be Jakes out here going to consent to that, right? They're going to consent. They're going to say, "Oh, well, you can't keep your job. You can't come out in public no more unless you get this vaccine." Right? You can't be around nobody. You got to stay quarantined. Or if you do come out, you got to have a mask on 24/7. Right? You got to get tagged. Right? And Jake is going to fold. That's what's going to happen. Right? Because they're going to take away your livelihood. They're going to take food out your plate. Right? Moving on. Verse 44. "For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land." Right? Wear your face mask. Right? Man, you think any of the prophets would have been walking around wearing a face mask? Right? Nah. I mean, obviously, you follow the laws of the land. Like, if you want to go into someone's establishment and they have it where you got to wear a face mask, I wear the mask, man. I ain't like Esau. I want to go in there and argue with them. Right? I wear the mask. But when I come out, I'm taking that off, man. I want to breathe God's fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Because we got the Spirit on us, man. We ain't got to worry about no COVID. Right? Verse 45. "And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts." that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. All right. So King Antiochus made this for Israelites. Right. That was his whole purpose, that we can forget the Lord. Whose law? The Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Right. Verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Right? Not that he would be banished or exiled. No. This devil, right, Antiochus, said you're gonna die. Right? See that? So, or not even that you be imprisoned. Right? He just gonna kill you. Right? And this is what Esau's looking to do today. Right? They're just like their forebears, just like their forefathers, man. Same spirit, same agenda. Right? The apple don't fall far from the tree. Okay, so your Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates, they're the modern day Antiochus. That's who they are. Right? Trying to mandate things that's ungodly, man. Okay, and they want people to be what? Dependent on them. All right, moving on. All right, the book of Second Thessalonians, chapter 2, starting at verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Right, so the mystery of iniquity doth already work. That's what you Gentile Jakes call conspiracy theories. Right? That's that mystery of iniquity, that plan being made, right, while you sleep. Right? While Esau is laying on his bed devising mischief, called this mystery of iniquity, right? You sleep, right, as a plan's being laid out. Instead of being awakened in the spirit of the Most High, Yahweh B'Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, you sleep. Right? Verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So how's the Lord going to consume this wicked that's going to be revealed with the spirit of his mouth? Through his servants. Okay? Through his servants. That's how he's going to destroy it and consume it. Right? Through the word. Us brothers making these videos or going out in their highways and, waking up Israel. That's how he's going to consume it. Right? With the spirit of his mouth. Right? Reading on. I'm going to skip down to verse 11. And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Right? And the lie's already been told. Right? You got this COVID, right, nonsense that they going on with, and these high numbers and the death rate and the contraction rate of COVID and all of that. Right? And you need to wear a face mask, and you need to get a vaccine. Right? And you need to get this ID, right? This little chip, right? Or whatnot. So this stuff has been revealed already. So with that, I want to say shalom. Listen to this video with an open mind, right? And let the Most High Spirit deal with you. Okay? So shalom.
Fellow Ghanaians, please listen to this extract from the Rockefeller Foundation article. It's actually on the website, a PDF document, and this is the outline. 1. Hypothesize a simulated global outbreak. Required steps, various phases, overall timeline, and expected outcomes. Rockefeller Lockstep 2010. create a very contagious but super low mortality rate virus to to fit the needed plan. And they have SARS/HIV hybrid research strain. So you see, it is not a purely viral thing. It's a hybrid research strain created at Fort Detrick Class 4 lab from 2008 to 2013 as part of a research project to find out why coronavirus spread like wildfire in bats but have an extremely hard time infecting humans, hence the 4 HIV insects, also known as the missing key to infect the humans, ACE2 receptor in brackets. Create a weaponized version of the virus with a much higher mortality rate as a backup plan, ready to be released in phase 3, but only if needed. And they have, in brackets, SARS, HIV, MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory Disease or something. A weaponized tribrid strain created at Fort Detrick Class 4 lab in 2015. Okay? Transport the research strain to a different Class 4 lab, National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg, Canada, and have it stolen and smuggled out by China. Wow. On purpose, and taken to China's only Class 4 laboratory, Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China, for added plausible deniability and to help cement the wanted backup public script as something to fall back on if needed. Primary script being its natural backup script being that China created it and released it by accident. That's why we said pandemic or accident according to plan. Found all the talking heads, Fauci, Bergs, Tedros, and agencies, WHO, NIAID, CDC, UN, that would be involved with pandemic response prior to the planned release of the research strain to control the wanted script throughout the operation. Create and fund the vaccination development and rollout plan so it's capable of being rolled out on a global scale. Bill Gates' Decade of Vaccines Global Vaccine Action Plan 2010 to 2020. Create and fund the vaccination verification certification protocols, digital ID, to enforce, confirm the vaccination program after the mandatory rollout is enacted, Gates ID 2020. Simulate the lockstep hypothesis just prior to the planned research strain release, using a real-world exercise as a final war game to determine the expected response timelines and outcomes. Gates, and that's Event 201, October 2019. Release the research strain at the Wuhan Institute of Virology itself, and then blame its release on a natural scapegoat as the wanted primary script, the Wuhan wet market, November 2019. You see how this thing has been really captioned? This is mystery of iniquity, wickedness, cached in secrecy. Downplay the human-to-human transmission for as long as possible to allow the research strain to spread on a global scale before any country can lock down or respond to avoid initial infection. Can you imagine? No wonder the WHO, that's exactly what the WHO did. Downplay the human-to-human transmission for as long as possible to allow the research strain to spread on a global scale before any country can lock down or respond to avoid initial infection. Once a country has seed infection in place, lock down incoming, outgoing travel, but keep the transmission within the country spreading for as long as possible. Once enough people in a country or region are infected, enact forced quarantines or isolation for that area and expand the lockdown regions slowly over time. Overhype the mortality rate by tying the research strain to deaths that have little to nothing to do with the actual virus to keep the fear and compliance at a maximum. If anyone dies for any reason and is found they have COVID, consider it a COVID death And if anyone is thought to of maybe had symptoms of COVID, to assume they have COVID and consider it a COVID death. So this is what we have been hearing, that a lot of the deaths have been exaggerated. That's why the Americans are challenging the Chinese. The Chinese were not wrong. They were quoting the right figures. But this thing was bred and brewed in America by the Americans, by the depopulation agenda of Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, and the Rockefeller Foundation. So what they are counting in America, a lot of them has nothing to do with COVID-19. There are many people who have died of other diseases that have nothing to do with COVID-19, but have some of the symptoms, and they just branded all of them as COVID-19. That's why Anthony Fauci could stand and speak with confidence that there will be 200,000 deaths. Shame on him. Keep the public quarantined for as long as possible to destroy the region's economy. Can you see? Can you see? To destroy the region's economy, create civil unrest, break down the supply chain, and cause the start of mass food shortages, as well as cause people's immune system to weaken due to lack of interaction with other people, bacteria, the outside world, also known as, or aka, the things that keep our immune system alert and alive. So this thing we are doing is actually making us susceptible to diseases and weakening our immune system. That's why we should go out. They are joking. Downplay and attack any potential treatments and continue to echo that only a cure is viable to fight this virus, ACA, or also known as a vaccine. Continue to drag out the quarantine over and over and over again in 2-week intervals. Hey! Causing more and more people to eventually stand up and protest or defy them. Eventually, God have mercy. Eventually, end the phase 1 quarantine once they get enough public pushback around June 2020, and publicly say that they still think it is too early to end the isolation, but are going to do it anyways. Once the public go back to normal in course, wait a few weeks and then continue to overhype the recess strain mortality rate, August to September 2020, and combine it with the increase in deaths due to people dying from standard illnesses at a higher rate than normal due to having highly weakened immune systems from months of being in isolation, to help further pad the mortality rate and hype the upcoming phase 2 lockdown. So there's a phase 2 lockdown they are planning. Eventually enact phase 2 quarantines October to November on an even more extreme level, and blame the protesters, mostly people who don't trust their government already, for the cause of the larger second wave. We told you so. It was too early. This is all your fault. Cause you needed a haircut. Your freedoms have consequences. Enforce the phase 2 quarantine at a much more extreme level, increasing the penalty for defiance. Replace fines with jail term. Deem all travels as non-essential. Increase checkpoints, including military assistance. Increase tracking, tracing of the population. Mandatory apps. Take over control of food, gas, large-scale shortages, so that people can only get access to essential products, services, if they are first given permission. Keep the phase 2 lockdown in place for a much longer period of time than the phase 1 lockdown, continuing to destroy the global economy, further degrade the supply chain, and further amplify the food shortages and alike. Quell any public outrage using extreme action and force, and make anyone who defies them appear as public enemy number 1 to those who are willing to submit. After a rather long phase 2 lockdown, 6+ months, roll out the vaccination program, vaccine certification, and make it mandatory for everyone, giving priority access to those that submitted from the start, and have those that are for it attack those that are against it, saying they are a threat to the cause of all. Say, the problems, we can't go back to normal until everyone takes the vaccine. People defying them are hurting our way of life and therefore are the enemy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, fellow Ghanaians? Listen. If the majority of people go along with the agenda, then let those people enter the new system, new normal, while limiting the minority that defy the agenda's ability to work and travel. If the majority of the people go against agenda, then release the weaponized SARS-CoV, HIV-CoV, MERS, tribrid strain as phase 3, a virus with a 30% plus mortality rate as a final scare to push the minority to quickly become the majority and give a final "we told you so" to those that didn't listen. Enact the new economy model, Microsoft patent 060606 cryptocurrency system using body activity data, which is based on human behavior and willingness to submit. Tweaked version of Black Mirror's 15 million merits, using food, water, shelter, and other essentials as a weapon of enforcement of the new economic system. Basically, do what we want and get rewarded, gain credits, score and gain more access to things you need to survive, or go against what we want and get penalized, those credits and those access to things you need to survive. This is recorded. Everything I've read to you, fellow Ghanaians, is what they have planned. And I am passing it around for everybody to pass it around and hear what has been planned. You can see everything that has taken place to date is right within this document from Rockefeller Foundation that somebody has been able to sneak out to us. And I've read it out because it is on the website. They may just take it out so nobody can go and get it again. So now I have it recorded so we can all listen to it, pass it around, and so that those who are saying it is all conspiracy theory can see. That's what the Bible means. The mystery of iniquity. It is cast in secrecy. And we are praying that this year, before the end of the year, God will expose all these wicked deals that they have cast in secrecy to put the world on their knees to get all of us vaccinated. That is the bottom line. That is the bottom line. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong, bold to defend the cause of freedom and of right. Fill our hearts with true humility. Help us to cherish fearless honesty. Help us to resist oppressors' rule. We are resisting this oppression of Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci. Yes, George Soros and the depopulation agenda. We are resisting them, and God is our helper. They will not succeed. I decree in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, let God judge between them and us. They are here to destroy humanity and put us in a panic mode and deceive us and turn the world upside down. The world doesn't belong to these wicked guys. No way. They will not have their way. God will have his way. And what I'm doing now is part of what the church is supposed to do, to resist them. He says, the mystery of iniquity worketh, but he that letteth, he that restrains them, shall continue to do so until they be taken out. And so, as long as the church of the Lord Jesus Christ is here, they will not succeed.